of a vector. Now how do we represent the magnitude of a vector? If we have this vector, A vector, I want to write the magnitude. This is written by modulus. We just put a modulus on this side, as we have discussed the modulus function in case of functions also. It is the same modulus, right? It's just used to represent the magnitude of this vector. Now this vector magnitude can also be written like this. I'm just not putting a bar over here. I'm just excluding this bar. If I'm writing this vector without the bar, this will show only the magnitude. But if I'm writing A vector, this will show magnitude as well as direction. So that's the difference. The magnitude of the vector can be written as these two forms. First is modulus of A bar, and second is only A without this bar. So these are the two ways of writing the magnitude of the vectors. Now let's see the next part, which is a null vector. Now what do I mean by null vector? From the name it is pretty much clear that null vector means the vector which has zero magnitude. Now the vector which has zero magnitude will obviously be 0. But we don't represent zero vector or null vector by just 0. We have to put a bar over here. So the null vector is represented by 0 vector. So you do not put the 0 vector like this. This is not the representation of 0 vector. The correct representation is you put a bar on the top. So that's the representation. Next is unit vector. So from the name only, it is pretty much clear that unit vector is the vector whose magnitude is 1. So the vectors whose magnitude is 1 is unit vector. Now how do we represent? If I want to calculate, let's say, unit vector parallel to A vector. If we want to find a unit vector parallel to A vector, how will we find? We know that it has magnitude only 1. So if we divide the vector by its magnitude, we will get a vector with only unit magnitude, right? So what I'm trying to say is that if I divide the vector by its magnitude, now if I try to find the magnitude of this vector, this will come out to be 1, because this will be magnitude of A vector divided by magnitude of A vector. That will give us 1. So the unit vector is written as A vector divided by modulus of A vector. Now this is spelled as A cap. We just put a cap on the top, and this cap represents a unit vector. Now this A cap will represent the unit vector, and that is written by dividing the ratio of the vector and its